The idea that there was ever going to be like, oh, we're going to end this war. You don't end a war. We talked to Kurt Schlichter about this. You either win them, you lose them, or you negotiate some kind of peace settlement. And that's what Trump was attempting to do, because you're not going to keep a forever force in Afghanistan. I mean, only War Inc. wants something like that, right? So there was no end. And Joe Biden, when he was talking about this, and we're going to play all the audio, but when he was talking about all this stuff yesterday, and he kept saying that it was a major success and also all Trump's fault. He said that like 2 different times, which is just bizarre to me. But for this guy to act like he just stumbled upon this and inherited it is some of the stupidest gaslighting I've ever seen in my ever-loving life. I want to remind everybody, this guy's been in government longer than I've been on this earth. He's been in government longer than I've been alive. He's been in government longer than anyone on this show has been alive. That's how long he's been in government. This grifter, federal government grifter, has never for one damn day worked in the private sector. He wouldn't have any idea how to run a business. This man ain't never had to make payroll. This man ain't ever had to go risk anything or sacrifice anything. I mean, Congress is basically one failed reality show. He's been in there this whole time. This was a guy who voted for an unending authorized use of military force. At the very beginning, sent soldiers for over 2 decades to Afghanistan. He voted to fund it when he was a senator. When he became vice president of the United States, he co-signed and prosecuted. I will say this, because the going thought, and everybody has said this, that Joe Biden has no idea what the hell he's doing when it comes to foreign policy. This guy is as clueless as the day is long. He's not intelligent. He's just loud. And if you notice, some of the dumbest people shriek and yell because they don't have the intelligence or any academic understanding to fall back on in order to convey any kind of authority or respect. So they just yell and shout as a substitute. That doesn't work for him anymore now that he's barely articulate. This is a guy who is vice president of the United States, prosecuted the unending presence in Afghanistan. And this back and forth about the dates, I'm done having this stupid, insipid conversation. It is dumb, and people who, I'm not going to grace that argument with anything nicer than it is dumb, and the people who engage it are dumb. That's just all there is to it. As president, he decided to screw around with the withdrawal date. And so now everyone's saying, oh my gosh, this transcript of this conversation with him, and nobody cares because we all have been paying attention this entire time. I mean, it's just weird. So yeah, he was pressing Ghani to change the perception. Ghani couldn't change his underwear. He can't change perception. When all this fell apart, that guy, he was out of Dodge. He got on a chopper and he was out. He went to Doha. He was out. He didn't even stay and say goodbye to nobody. That man was out. And so this whole thing, this transcript, it's ridiculous. And we all know it. We all know because of the Afghanistan papers that this was not going to be a conflict, that there was not going to be any winning. We knew that as soon as mission creep set in, as soon as we decentralized Taliban, and then even when they got Osama bin Laden, that's the thing. I give Barack Obama credit for continuing the Bush plan on that, which that's absolutely, if he did it, Bush planned it, and Obama carried it out. All there is to it. And so he at least, and remember, Joe Biden was against that. Joe Biden didn't want to go and get Osama bin Laden. He was against it. That was a very famous conversation that they had. He was against the bin Laden raid. He told Obama he should wait. There's a handful of books that have been written about this. Biden said no. Politico had a big piece back in 2015 on this. CNN had a piece back in May on this. PolitiFact even fact-checked him because he tried to redefine what he said. Joe Biden is as believable on foreign policy as he is on guns. No, then he came back and he was like, well, I would have done differently. Everyone in that damn room ratted that man out. They said, no, that's not what he was saying. He was saying, don't do it. He's been wrong on every single foreign policy issue. He's a warmonger. He's the guy who likes to come in and talk a big game and let everybody else do the fighting for him, and then he's got no exit strategy. That's how people get killed. But that's his strategy, is not to have one. No, the Afghanistan papers, you were dealing with a bunch of military folks who were trying to carry out the policies that these half-witted politicians were writing for them. So we knew it was a mess. We didn't need any transcript